See, I think it is brightening all the time. And certainly that gold looks to be gleaming ever more.
Representatives of the realms and dependent territories. Great, from the other side. It's a great honour for them.
I was listening to Sir David Attenborough yesterday evening talking about the importance of the Queen's coronation 70 years ago in terms of the history of television. And you look at all of the personal filming that's going on and think what this represents in terms of footage taken, individual footage taken. It must be covered by more cameras, if you see what I mean, official cameras and personal cameras, than any event ever. So that grandstand on the left is where we have members of the NHS, care workers as well, veterans, and those representing various charities. Oh, good move there from the Royal Navy.
Wow, this is the manoeuvre I was talking about earlier. You can see the gate top right where they're all going through. And this is a new military manoeuvre which has been designed specifically for this parade to reduce the flank of the frontage of 12 into a frontage of 6.
So it's sort of halving itself in
yes.
Is that what you mean?
And I have to say, the Navy have just executed that absolutely superbly. See the streetliners there, still standing there. They've been there since 9 o'clock this morning as the Coldstream Guardsmen saluting the royal family.
And I wanted to ask you about the 5-pace gap of the streetliners. How is that measured?
Well, you might be familiar with some senior non-commissioned officers. In fact, you see the Garrison Sergeant Major in the background there, right in the sort of left middle of the screen, carrying a stick, and that is called a pace stick. And it is, when it's opened, it replicates a 30-inch pace, and they use the pace stick to get the 5 paces that they need between each streetliner. There was a pace-sticking World Championships, Claire. Did you know that?
I did not.
No. Held at Sandhurst every year.
It's Louis enjoying this, I think. He's only a year older than the King was when he attended the Queen's coronation. But all of them will remember this. They're old enough to remember it, and everybody here today. There's a day they will never forget. So the lifeguards there in the Blues and Royals, either side of the Gold State coach. And the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, the Duke and patron of many charities, including the National Youth Theatre, the British Paralympic Association, the Sport and Recreation Alliance as well. You can see the movement of the Gold State coach, and the reason why they didn't want to have it on the way to Westminster Abbey, I think it would make you feel quite seasick. And it has been, compared to those who have, compared by those who have ridden in it. It's like riding on rough seas. Just to say, on iPlayer you can, if you wish, select uninterrupted commentary free coverage, or if you require more detail on Red Button, we have accessible commentary, also a signed version on BBC Two, and of course highlights on full coverage on iPlayer available immediately, and highlights tonight. You see there the very back of the procession. The front of it already has reached the gardens of Buckingham Palace, and the back of it now into its last section down the Mall, and colours being lowered as the
As the state coach goes by, yes, the soldiers will use their rifles to salute, and then the young officers carrying the colours will lower the colours. I was talking about how tricky that becomes when they are wet. It's difficult enough normally, but when they're wet, they'll be 3 times the weight.
King Charles III is the Commander-in-Chief of the UK Armed Forces, and that's a role he inherited on the death of Queen Elizabeth in September last year. And he holds the highest rank in all 3 services, so Field Marshal, Admiral of the Fleet, and Marshal of the Royal Air Force.
Yes, and of course, Captain General of the Royal Marines. You can see bottom left there's colour down saluting as the King goes by. Talking of colours and flags, some of the horsemen have been heroic today. I'm sure the viewers have spotted a number of horses who've clearly been spooked by waving flags and cheering crowds. Which obviously is a hazard of ceremonial duty, but it's amazing the way they manage to control their horses in such circumstances. Particularly the musicians, as you said earlier, who don't necessarily have hands on the reins.
And talking of horsemanship, you see Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal there, back right of the gold stagecoach, so relaxed in the saddle. And it's not easy, right? The point is, A, it's not easy riding, but B, riding in uniform, riding in boots that have no give, that are stiff, that makes it a little bit harder.
Well, they've also got spurs on as well, Claire, which are really quite sharp. And should they inadvertently allow a spur to wander into the side of the horse,
It will take off.
not ideal.